Every single World Cup in history has produced at least one team that walked in as a nobody and walked out as a legend. A team the world dismissed, that the experts ignored, that arrived quietly and left loudly. Morocco did it in 2022. Croatia did it in 2018. South Korea did it in 2002. And in 2026, with 48 teams, more games, and a new format that gives even third-place team a path to the knockout, the conditions for the greatest shock runs in World Cup history have never been more perfectly arranged. Here is the structural fact that changes everything about this tournament. Because the format now means that the 8 best third-place teams across all 12 groups also advance to the knockout rounds, which means a team can lose a game and still survive, still go deeper, still cause an upset that nobody saw coming. And that single change is the most important thing that has ever happened for dark horse teams in the history of this competition. I am going to give you 5 teams, 5 nations that the mainstream conversation is not taking seriously enough. And I'm going to tell you exactly why each is dangerous, which group they are in, and what their realistic path to making history looks like. Because one of these 5 teams will do something at this World Cup that people are still talking about in 2030. At number 5, Turkey. Turkey are returning to the World Cup for the first time in 24 years. They have not been here since 2002, when they finished third. And they arrive in 2026 built around 2 of the most exciting young players in European football. Arda Güler, the 21-year-old Real Madrid midfielder who created more chances than any other Madrid players this season, and Kenan Yildiz of Juventus, who scored 11 goals and provided 10 assists in Serie A last season, and averages the 3rd highest dribble completion rate of any player in European qualifying. And both of them were not even born the last time Turkey played at a World Cup. Turkey are in Group D with Australia, Paraguay, and the United States. And while that is not an easy group, it is a group where Turkey, led by Captain Hakan Çalhanoğlu of Inter Milan, one of the deepest line playmakers in European football, can absolutely top the standings and enter the knockout as the most unpredictable unseeded team in the draw. And unpredictability at a World Cup, combined with genuine quality, is the most dangerous combination a team can carry. At number 4, Senegal. Senegal are not just a dark horse. They are a sleeping giant that the world keeps underestimating. They are Africa Cup of Nations champion. They reached the quarterfinals of the 2022 World Cup, and they qualified for 2026 by winning their CAF group outright. And their squad, led by Sadio Mane, is built with players competing at the highest level of European football every single week, with a defensive structure so organized that across their entire African Cup of Nations campaign, they conceded only twice in 7 games. And here is the history that makes Group I electric. Because the last time Senegal and France met at a World Cup group stage was 2002, when Senegal walked out as rank outsiders against the reigning world champions and won, producing one of the greatest upsets in tournament history. And in 2026, the draw has handed them the exact same opponent, the exact same group stage setting, and the exact same opportunity. And Senegal in 2026 are a far better team than they were in 2002. At number 3, USA. The United States opened their campaign on June 12th against Paraguay at Sophie Stadium in Los Angeles, on home soil, in front of a capacity crowd of Americans who are falling in love with football in real time. And history tells us exactly what home advantage does to a team at a World Cup. South Korea reached the semi-final in 2002, playing in front of their own people. France won the whole thing in 1998 at home, and the United States, coached by Mauricio Pochettino with Christian Pulisic leading the attack, will feel that same electricity every single time they walk out of that tunnel. Pochettino is the manager who took Tottenham Hotspur, a club that had never been to Champions League final, all the way to that final in 2019, building a team not around superstars, but around a relentless collective system, around pressing, around belief. And now he is applying that exact philosophy to the United States, a squad that is young, athletic, hungry, and playing on home soil in front of the biggest crowd they have ever experienced. And that combination of system, home advantage, and the right moment in their development makes the USA the most dangerous host nation in World Cup history. At number 2, Japan. If you are still not taking Japan seriously, consider this. At the 2022 World Cup in Qatar, Japan beat Germany and Spain in the same group, 2 former world champions, and then lost to Croatia only on penalties in the round of 16. And every single analyst who dismissed them before those games had to sit in complete silence afterwards. Japan in 2026 are in Group F, alongside the Netherlands and Sweden, and they arrive without their injured star winger, Kaoru Mitoma, which means the entire creative burden falls on Takefusa Kubo of Real Sociedad, described by analysts as one of the most dangerous wingers in Europe right now. Japan do not win matches through individual brilliance. They win through a collective system so disciplined, so precisely drilled, that their pressing traps work like clockwork. Every player moves in the same exact moment to close down space, force a mistake, and then transition to attack within seconds. It is one of the most tactically sophisticated systems in international football, and with Wataru Endo of Liverpool anchoring their midfielder and Daichi Kamada of Crystal Palace operating between the lines, Japan in 2026 have the intelligence and the structure to beat teams that are, individually, far more talented than they are. At number 1, Morocco. Morocco are the most dangerous team on this entire list, and I want to be precise about why. Because in Qatar 2022, Morocco eliminated Belgium in the group stage, eliminated Spain in the round of 16, eliminated Portugal in the quarterfinals, Cristiano Ronaldo's Portugal, and only France, with arguably the greatest squad in world football, stopped them in the semi-final. That is a run so extraordinary that it still does not feel entirely real. And the team that produced it is now 4 years older, 4 years more experienced, and has qualified for 2026 with a perfect record of 8 wins from 8 qualifying games. The core of the 2022 team is still there. Achraf Hakimi of Paris Saint-Germain leads from right back with energy and quality of a world-class forward, and they are now joined by Brahim Diaz, who has scored 9 goals in his first 12 international appearances and has established himself as the primary creative force in Morocco's attack, and their manager, Walid Regragui, who has masterminded that 2022 semi-final run, is still in charge, still building, still making Morocco harder to play against than almost any team in international football. Morocco are in Group C, with Brazil, Scotland, and Haiti. And that group fixture between Morocco and Brazil is one of the most anticipated matches of the entire group stage, because Brazil have not won a World Cup since 2002, and the pressure on them is enormous. And Morocco are exactly the kind of organized, tactically disciplined team that can neutralize Brazil's individual talent and punish them on the counter-attack. And if Morocco take points from Brazil in that group, the shockwave across the entire tournament will be felt immediately. And Morocco carries something that no statistic can measure. They carry an entire continent. Because when Morocco reached that semi-final in 2022, people cried in the streets of Lagos, Dakar, Cairo, and Nairobi, not because they were Moroccan, but because when Morocco won, Africa won. And in 2026, with 10 African nations at the tournament, Morocco are the team that can go further than any African nation has ever gone. And the weight and the beauty of that mission is something that will drive them through every difficult moment of this tournament.